Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's a wrap on Fruits Basket for now. Hey, it's Tony, also known as Kibuji, over at Westside Otaku, and today, gonna talk about Fruits Basket Season 2. I know there's a lot of folks that want me to talk about just ReZero every single week, but you guys don't sleep on Fruits Basket. Now, this is a Season 2 review, so there might be spoilers in this, but just before we get into it, just want to tell you, Season 2 of Fruits Basket is pretty much what I have already said about Fruits Basket previously with, you know, no spoilers whatsoever. This is a show following a girl named Toru Honda, who is too good for anybody, just too good. But she's a super nice protagonist, and she finds herself in the Selma family, and this is a family of people that have a curse that basically makes them turn into animals of the Zodiacs that happens when they hug somebody of the opposite sex, or basically touch them. I think it's hug, I don't know. There's a lot of details that fly over my head. So you think you're getting into some kind of fantasy dealio, but no, this is a drama with a capital D-R-A-M-A. Drama. And I don't mean it in the way that it's like insanely exaggerated, you know, just like, oh, woe is me, okay, that definitely happens. But it's a show about its characters. There is plot to be had, but really the plot is the characters in this show, just like the first season. That's what the first season was about, and I love the first season. I was telling people that Promised Neverland was my anime of the year last year, but Fruits Basket was one of my 10 favorite animes of the decade, and that still continues on into this season because the characters just continue to get flushed out and are amazing and beautiful, and just like the first season, this season was animated spectacularly, has the same great soundtrack that the first season had. Honestly, I did find it a little bit repetitive how they would use the same tracks over and over and over. The amount of plot is better than the first season, that's for sure. There might not be enough of it. However, hold the phone. Again, this show is all about its characters, and because of that, I will always forgive things like that. Characters are the core of any story. You don't really care to save the world if you don't have people that you're trying to save in it. But this show isn't about saving the world. This is simply about breaking the misery that is the Selma clan, the Selma family, and this curse that they have. And this season in particular, we get to meet who is arguably the antagonist of this story, being Akito, who we got to meet in the first season, but this was the season we really got to see the bullshit mind effery that Akito does. Akito Selma is the head of this Selma family and is the higher up that all these people that Toru meets, being, you know, a Lolita boy, a great character that is Yuki. I will get into Yuki in a moment. Every girl's crush, Kyo, and lots of characters' misery or things that they're dealing with, yes, have to do with elements that aren't Akito, but Akito just fuels them. He is a mental warfare monster of a villain. I seriously am going to put Akito, by the time this is over, he is at the top of like the best anime villains out there for purely him being a villain. But like many things in this show, there's more to every human being out there that meets the eye. In fact, that is something that is outside of this show an important lesson to know overall. Get to know people and get to know their background and what exactly is the source of their pain or their source of something that could be improved about them. There's a lot of things that we need to build up in ourselves. I will be transparent here and say that I have a big issue of self-worthiness, and that boils down way back to my parents getting split up when I was young, and I blame myself for that split up. And there's other events in life that basically watered that seed that I planted in myself, that if I couldn't keep my family together, then, you know, why should I deserve anything? And then certain elements of my life expanded that seed to grow into a tree that I eventually had to learn how to not cut down, but simply learn to live with it. Okay, there's more to it than that, but that's what I mean. It's stories like that, you know? This show, it's not necessarily about everybody is a sad soul, but there's certain things about people that's really important to know and where they come from and what is that seed? What is that seed that really caused certain trauma? But there are some characters in this show. I am looking at Isuzu Horse Girl. I am looking at her, man, because she had some moments in this season. Boy, when you learn about her background, it's not good. Not good in a dramatical sense. Like it's insane the shit that she went through, but it's not necessarily even like that for certain characters. There's even another character, Machi, who's not even part of the Soma family. She gets an episode that is just very relatable. It's not necessarily like she has a terrible upbringing, but perceived it in a way, and also, yes, was directed in a certain way that some would blame. That's what I mean. There's just certain situations about these people that you start to learn, and goddamn, Kyo. I did a reaction to Kyo on this channel. I think that reaction got blocked, but there's a certain episode that Kyo and Akito kind of have a meeting, if you will, which is significant. And that episode, man, that was the episode that I realized how much of a mental warfare genius that Akito is. I need to talk about the best character in this show, and arguably one of the best characters I have seen in anime, Yuki Soma. Yuki is best boy, hands down. I know a lot of people fantasize about getting Kyo's shirt ripped off and having him call you a douchebag because he's a bad boy, but Yuki is the epitome of what every human being should do. He is putting the most effort into becoming a better person and attacking those weaknesses of his. Not even attacking, but simply trying to make peace with them and trying to, instead of sympathize or have other people do that, he is actually trying to just make peace with these problems that he has in his life, but keep moving forward even with those problems there. I could gush about Yuki long live long day, because man, there are so many great episodes of him in this season, and even in the first season too, I loved Yuki. This video could turn into a seriously very long conversation about each of the characters in this show. There's some that might want me to talk about the final episode when it comes to Kurino, because there's some big reveals in that episode, and the way it's presented too, it's just like, damn, dude. So you're telling me this is a show that's just all about, you know, horrible backstories and sad people? No, because there's some fun, lighthearted moments too. I'm not saying you go to this show for the comedy, you go to this show to really understand people and what has caused them to become who they are, what has given them certain conditions that they have, and really just people. It's funny because there is this supernatural element to it that is the Zodiac curse, and this is the season that we finally get to dabble into that plot point, but it is still just a part of these characters' worlds. It's not like this is first and foremost some fantasy show that's like, oh, we gotta use the Zodiac curse to do shit. No, Toru, again, is a shining light that nobody deserves. She starts to discover more about the curse this season and wants to figure out ways of dealing with it, combating it, whatever you want to say. She starts to learn more about it. She starts to learn more about Akito, and we get to learn more and start to get involved in what exactly is going on. And Toru has way too much shit to hit, but that's because she's the light. She is the light that is, you know, Akito is the darkness, but you know, I always knew that Akito, with every great villain, there is more to each of these villains than meets the eye. And, you know, that doesn't mean they're justified in their actions. We get glimpses, potentially, of what Akito is and why he is that. But that's actually very specific spoilers. This has been a great show to watch week by week. It's been such a great show to watch week by week, and it's just been such a pleasant thing to go to, because it's every episode is kind of its own thing. It is continuous. It is important to keep all the information retained, which I suck at, but it's just this really calm and like pleasant thing that I get to just sit down and get emotional or really invest myself in every week, that doesn't have to do with kind of big plot. I just get to be reunited with these people every week. So if you haven't watched it, I just recommend you kind of take your time with it instead of binging it, because that's too much emotions in one day. There's a big void left in my heart after season 2 is wrapped up and season 3 is confirmed for 2021. Thank God. I am very looking forward to it. But for now, Fruits Basket season 2 had its things. That it did have repetitive music every now and then, and I did wish sometimes we got to push the plot a bit more than we did. It started to finally happen, especially the first half of this season. I need to say that really quick for people that have watched it. The first half of this season has this like beach arc, and then the second half kind of goes back to what we were doing in season 1. I loved the beach arc. The beach arc was where things were at. Like, I was loving that because it was continuous. We were getting a lot more of like what these characters are going through. And then the second half of the season, things kind of slow down and don't really move that much forward. There's some things. We definitely got some things. Like, don't get me wrong. That's just me critiquing, okay? Critiquing doesn't mean I didn't like the show, because guess what? I freaking love the show, and I'm gonna give it a B+, man. This is a really good show. I really think it's good. You should watch it. And like on a personal level, to me, like it's an A. It's something that's always gonna stick with me, but I like to actually critique things, and I definitely think there's some things that could be improved, but that shouldn't change your mind on watching it if you've been thinking about it, because you totally should, because it's a very important show for that matter. Fruits Basket, go check it out. Season 2 is great. Season 1's great. Go watch it. Let me know what you thought of it in the comments down below. I don't think there's gonna be anything like Fruits Basket this season, but I could be wrong. Leave me some comments, and I will catch you in the next video. Be geek, be proud, be awesome.